What's up, guys? So if you tuned into my channel last week, you saw that I made a list of 5 fragrances that are from my collection that I was recommending to another one of my subscribers that I considered youthful. He also wanted me to do a list of more mature fragrances I would recommend, but not too mature. So in this list, or in this video, I'm going to be giving you 5 fragrances from my collection that I consider mature that I love to wear. And so without further ado, let's get it. Alright, my great smelling dudes, welcome back to my channel. This is Randy, aka Fragrance Dude, back with another fragrance video. Before I get into the video, as always, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell for future notifications. Let me know below what fragrances from your collection that are a bit more mature that you like to wear on an everyday basis. If you were looking for the leather fragrances or the tobacco fragrances to be in this list, I'm not going to have those because to me, those are not everyday wear. And for this person, they were looking for designer, everyday wear, more mature fragrances. And again, I did the youthful fragrances last week. So this is going to be 5 fragrances from my list that are designer and they are everyday wear, more mature fragrances. And I don't like the hyper mature fragrances. I like the ones that are kind of in the middle that could be worn either way. I would say mid 20s all the way through your 50s, and you can sometimes you can pull it off sooner. But with that said, I'm going to get straight into it here. The first one on my list is going to be, to me, the most mature in this line, although it is already a mature line. This is from Dolce & Gabbana. It is the One Eau de Parfum Intense. And as you can tell by the bottle compared to the others, it even looks a bit more sleek and a bit more mature as well. So this is going to take that one DNA that you know that has that amber, that tobacco, and it's going to take down the tobacco, add a bit of this bright effervescence to it. To me, it's the most versatile of all of them. You can wear it to the office, you can wear it on a date night, you can wear it pretty much anywhere. So it's a warm, spicy, ambery fragrance, and the main notes you get in the One Eau de Parfum Intense are cardamom, neroli, cashmerean, and leather. Those are just some of the main notes. Obviously, you're going to get amber throughout this fragrance. It's going to warm it up. It's going to make it a bit deep, a bit resinous as well. But in the opening, you get this fresh, spicy cardamom mixed with that neroli that brightens it up. As well as, even though it's in the base, you get some cashmerean that gives it this fizzy, effervescent pop, which is really actually nice. Compared to the other fragrances, it does change it a lot. I know a lot of people were hoping that this was just going to be that stronger, more potent version of the Eau de Parfum, but I'm actually glad they changed it and made it like this. Even though the performance still leaves much to be desired. It's about 6 hours and you get about 2 hours of above average projection. I like the way that this is made. I like it through and through because you also get that leather in the dry down. You also get that amber coming up, giving it that warmth, and then you have that cashmere and giving it that bright pop. It's just really good. Can be worn pretty much all year round. There are some times in the summer that I probably would stay more away from it during the day. But the One Eau de Parfum Intense is just a nice take on the line. It's a bit more mature, it's classy, it's luxurious, and it just makes you feel good about yourself when you're wearing it, especially if you're an older gentleman. I really like it, and if you like the one and you want something a bit more mature, the One Eau de Parfum Intense is really good. So the next one on my list, this is actually one that I've had for quite a long time. And to me, it's still one of the best in the line, even though the performance is lackluster pretty much in the entire line. This is by YSL. It is Lomme. I actually just got a new bottle about 6 months ago. But based on what you're looking at here, you would think this is more of a fresh fragrance. And while this can get pretty much easily worn throughout the entire year, and it's another super versatile fragrance, it is a really masculine fragrance as well. It's the type of masculine fragrance that I like to wear. It is a warm and spicy fragrance. It has a bit of deepness while also maintaining a bit of freshness. And the main notes in Lomme are ginger, bergamot, spices, tonka, and cedar. When you first spray this on, this is a ginger fragrance through and through. You get that ginger, it gives it this net snap, as well as some sweetness, as well as a bit of spice, and then you also get a bunch of different citruses in the background. They never feel too citrusy. It's more of just this rindiness, but not like a sweet rindiness, if you know what I mean. And the bergamot just mixes in really, really nicely with that ginger, provides a really nice, mature, deep yet a little bit fresh snap of a ginger in the opening with that citrus. As you work your way into the dry down, this fragrance doesn't change too much. You do get some cedar coming in the base, as well as a little bit of a sweet tonka bean to give it a little bit of this powderiness, but it's going to be, again, a ginger fragrance through and through. You're going to get a bit of spices coming in there as well, but for the most part, other than that bergamot dissipating because it is a lighter note, you're not going to get much of a change in this fragrance outside of a bit of that woods and aromatics coming into the base. Again, that's about it. Ginger fragrance. It smells really nice, really classy. My wife absolutely loves this, but I wouldn't say under the age of 25 you're really going to be able to pull this off. So to me, this is going to be mature, even more mature than the Eau de Parfum Intense. The next one is going to be one that some people might say is not as mature as I'm making it out to be, but to me, based on the line itself, it is the most mature in the line. And this is from Azzaro. It is Wanted by Night. And so compared to the other ones in the line, you have the original, which is that bubblegummy sweetness, kind of like Invictusy. Then you have the Most Wanted, which is that gourmand toffee. Then you have the Most Wanted Parfum that has that gourmand vanilla bourbon mixture, which is really good. That actually, I thought about putting that in this list because it is more mature than like the Most Wanted. And then you have Wanted Tonic, which is just your gym scent. This one is your warm and spicy with a little bit of that sweetness mixed in there. It's really good. And the main notes in Wanted by Night are cinnamon, incense, mandarin orange, coriander, fruity notes, and benzoin. When you first spray it on, you get a more mature, more modernized version of the original Wanted. It tones down that bubblegummy sweetness and adds in this warm cinnamon spice. It's really nice. You also get this woody accord, like the amber woods or something like that, that come in that really provide this nice warm depth. It's one of my favorite, if not my favorite, fall fragrance out there, and it layers really well, especially with other fragrances in this line. It's deep, it's dark, it's spicy, and then also when you get through the mid, you also get these fruity accords that come in that are really nice the way that they mix in there, because it doesn't make it too feminine or too fruity or too bubblegummy sweet. It just mixes in there with those warm spices. And then as you work your way into the dry down, you get even more of that spice, that deepness, that darkness, as well as a little tiny bit of leather. And then those woods pop up enough to make you know that this is a amber, woody, spicy, warm, dark fragrance with a touch of leather in the base. Really one of the best fragrances, and for the price, I think you can get it for like 30 bucks. It's worth it, 100%. This is Wanted by Night, one of the best fall fragrances out there. The next one on my list, actually the next two are going to be newer pickups to my collection. One's discontinued and one isn't even released yet. So we got two opposite ends of the spectrum. So this one is going to be by Prada. It is Prada Lhomme Intense. So this is going to be your iris fragrance. It's an iris ambery spicy fragrance, and the main notes in Prada Lhomme Intense are iris, amber, tonka bean, and sandalwood. You get about 8 hours of projection or above. I forgot to mention the projection with this. The Wanted by Night is about 6 to 7 hours, if not a little bit more than that. And then you also get average projection, or maybe a little bit above average, for about 2 to 3 hours. So for this Prada Lhomme Intense, you get 8 hours plus, as well as moderate projection for the first 4 hours, maybe a bit above average for the first 2. But you get that iris. That iris is beautiful. I usually am not a huge fan of iris fragrances, that powderiness, but you get a really nice iris mixture in here because of that amber. It brings in this warm, sticky, resinous sweetness, and it tones down the powder from the iris. You also get this leather accord that kind of, I explained it like this before. If you took Dior Homme Intense and like the cacao note that they have and those type of things, and you replace that with leather, it's not too leathery. It just provides a really nice backbone to this fragrance, as well as that tonka bean, which gives it this vanillic sweetness in the base, mixing with that amber and the iris. And really the fragrance, all of the notes, the amber, the iris, the tonka bean, and the leather, the only one that's going to be in the background is the leather. The other three are going to be main players in this fragrance to have it be a vanillic, ambery, resinous iris. And that is what this fragrance is. It is absolutely beautiful. It is a date night fragrance. It performs fantastically. If you can find this for a good price, $120 or less, Prada Lhomme Intense is where to go. It is really mature, great for older guys, although you could get away with it and a little bit younger as well. I think iris provides a note that is a bit more mature in general, but this one does it even a bit more, where it does lean a bit more mature as well. I would say 30 to 50 is the average range for this, even though again you can go younger or older. And the last one on my list, I actually just decided to change this out because I forgot I wasn't using niche. I had Citrat Blasé here. This is Armani Code Parfum, another iris fragrance compared to the other one. I don't have like the full note breakdown or anything like that, but I will tell you that the main notes that you pull in this are bergamot, bergamot leaf, tonka bean, and iris. And you also get some cedar in there as well. This is I had to mention this because it is more mature, because now that they took that code DNA, they added in some iris as well as some of this bright bergamot and bergamot leaf. I had to mention it here because it is more of a mature fragrance. It's one that you're definitely going to want to get your nose on. So the way that this fragrance works is when you first spray it on, that iris is really toned down in the background. You get this bergamot and bergamot leaf that give it this bright sweetness, as well as a little bit of a citrusy vibe and a little bit of a green facet. As you work your way into the mid, into the base, you also get that iris pulling up. The bergamot stays there and gives it this bright effervescence for quite a long time. I would say 2 to 3 hours at minimum. It doesn't change too much as you get into the base, outside of this tonka bean coming in, giving it a little bit of this sweetness, as well as the cedar coming in to give it a bit of aromatics. But all the way through, it's going to be this bright, effervescent iris fragrance with some bergamot in there, and it's just really good. It's one that I think is probably my favorite code in the line. I never was a huge fan of the code line outside of like a few, but this one, I gotta say, with that note of iris mixed in there, it is beautiful. It dials down that powder. It adds in some of that green and some of that citrus. It is really good. But yeah, those are my 5 mature fragrances I think that are good for pretty much any guy going through his late 20s, early 30s, 40s. Any of these fragrances would totally work for you. My wife loves them all. You would definitely get compliments for them. So again, let me know below which ones that you like, if you agree with these, if you don't agree with these. I mean, we all have different noses, so thank you guys so much. Again, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll be back with another one. Peace out.